Hello guys, welcome to Daddy Share Space and welcome to my channel. So today I am on woodpecker.com or woodpeckers.com, and I just happened to go on here for today. I'm not 100% sure why, but I want you to take note of this right here, limited release tool. So a while ago, let me go ahead and click into this part. A while ago, Woodpeckers had this 26, I guess 16 SS and the 1812 SS. These are woodworking squares that they make. They're stainless steel. I'm not quite sure why they discontinued them. However, they did discontinue them, and because I googled it and I saw that they were discontinued. Now, just to give a little context, right? So this one's a 26 inch by, I guess, 16 inch, and this one's 18 inch by 12 inch. I've been looking at this particular square prior to it going out, well, before they stopped selling it. And then I was comparing that against the benchdogs.co.uk version, which obviously these are going to be in metric. So you can see here price $220 for the largest one. That's with a wall mount. You can get it for $206 if you buy it with just the square itself. And so I've been for a while now looking back and forth between which one do I want to get. Now, to be quite frank, I don't have any kind of, well, I have the TSO triangle, and I have two bench dog. Well, I have the bench dogs triangle, and I have the bench dogs little carpenter square. Matter of fact, I can show you that right now. The one that I have. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, this one right here. I purchased this one quite a while ago. So, but going back to what I was talking about. So this square right here, the 2616 and the 1812. I was talking to my wife today because it came back into well, for sale, and it's I guess a limited time. So what I'm going to do today is I am going to go ahead and order both of them for $499.99. Now I want to take the time as I do this to say that I am not a big fan of this right here. Reserve yours today and expected to ship by October 1st. Now, because I was looking for this tool, well, looking at it a while ago, and I just couldn't pull the trigger because I'm not sure it was $599 before. It might have been $569. I'm not 100% sure. But I looked at that price and I was like, do I really need something like that? I was really unsure. Now, over time, I've come to find that some of the squares, the inexpensive squares that I bought, they're not 100% square. And so I'm getting like inconsistent results. Also, too, when I'm going to mark and scribe, sometimes I feel like I need a little bit more length. And so that's what kind of turned my attention to squares like these. Now, I hadn't purchased them before because I was pretty unsure as to whether it would be useful in my particular shop. However, as I've been doing projects and tinkering around in the shop, I feel like it would be quite useful. And if you continue to watch my channel, or if you heard me in the past, I kind of like to I kind of like to start at the top of the stack and work my way down, because basically it makes everything else easier to swallow after that. What do I mean by that? Like if I buy something, like of course these squares, they have the smaller ones of the stainless steel as well, and they're obviously less expensive, but and I could have purchased those at any time. However, now that the bigger ones are available, and I also know that they're kind of like limited to be out for a time and then maybe go out not be for sale again, I want to go ahead and knock this out and get it off of my to-do list, and then I'll get the smaller squares sometime later into the future. Now, obviously, these squares are not going to be useful in every kind of project. However, all your bigger projects, I mean, this is pretty much the biggest square that you can get, this 2616, because I actually did the math, and the benchdogs.co.uk, let me see if I see it here, stainless steel square, 600 millimeters, is actually about 23.9 or something inches. So I'm not 100% sure why the all of the metric items are slightly smaller than their imperial counterparts, but that is the case. You can even see here, if you go down here towards the bottom and you look for the larger square, you can see that it's 600 to 450. Or if you just get the bigger one, it's going to be 600 millimeters. So it's the equivalent to the bench dog. So I can't speak on the future. Basically, what I do is I use the allowance that I get to procure my tools or whatever. And my plan, if my economic situation doesn't completely implode, is I want to get all of my standard equipment, because I use both standard and metric. I kind of get fumbled up with the metric because I grew up on the imperial, and so sometimes when I kind of get my millimeters and my centimeters mixed up because I don't use it that often. But what I want to do is to kind of basically be able to identify quickly which tool I'm grabbing. My plan is to get all of my metric stuff in the bench dogs version, and then all of my woodpecker stuff in or all of my imperial stuff in the woodpecker version, so I can know at a glance which tool is which. Now, before I actually order this, I want to kind of go into well, let me just go ahead and order it real quick. I'm going to go in here, so I'm going to add this to my cart. I think I'm already signed in. Actually, I'm not. I was signed in earlier. Well, let me just go ahead and sign in. So I'll cut this part out because obviously I'm not giving my business away, but let me go ahead and sign in and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so allegedly now I am signed in. Let me look and check my cart and see if it's in my cart. Okay, I've got this mini Dell square in there. I'm going to get that out of there. Let me view my shopping cart. All right, so I am not. Oh, 0. Why is it 0? Is that free? It says it's no money, so maybe I get the mini Dell square for free. I guess. I don't know. So anyway, so I'm going to order this. So it says reserve yours today, expected to ship by October 1st. We'll see. I really hate pre-ordering almost anything. The only time I don't mind pre-ordering is if something is new. Like, well, I don't even think I pre-ordered my Festool saw. Maybe it was like a day or two before, just to secure the one in the store at Woodcraft. But I'm not a big fan of pre-ordering really much of anything. Maybe new electronics sometimes when I do decide to buy them. Let me go ahead and check out. All right, so I'm going to blur out obviously all of my information, but something I do want to say here is that the shipping cost is $25 for these two items. And let me go ahead and pay this now. Okay, so as you can see, we went ahead, we made the purchase. Let me go back here to the regular website. And so let me just show you here. So it cost me $25 to ship those two squares together. Now we're going to load up the bench dogs and we're going to take a look. I'm going to add it to cart. And okay, so yeah, this is what I wanted to say. So just a comparison. So I'm ordering two squares, the 26-inch and the 18-inch from Woodpeckers. And I ordered the set. I guess it comes in the MDF type of holder. That's $4.99, and then there's like $43 worth of tax, and then it's $25 to ship. If I order one bench dog square, if I order this one bench dog square right here, it's actually going to cost me over $50 just to ship this one square. So that's the one downfall to having to order things outside of your country. Now, it hasn't stopped me in the past. I've ordered several bench dog products, and I plan on, if economically I'm able, to order some more bench dogs tools. However, it is kind of steep. I kind of got to get that running start before I order stuff like this, because it's quite pricey. I mean, by comparison. I mean, think about it. I'm getting two squares and the little holder, and it's going to be a total of $25 to ship that, because it's here in the U.S. And then if I order this, it's going to be $54. And obviously, if I order more than one, it's going to be even more money than that. I think the Bench Dogs table, I looked at that. I put it in my cart and took a look at it. I think it's cost me, if I wanted to get the Velcro mat table, it's going to cost me $153 to ship it here to me in California. So, that stuff like that, the table stuff is pretty far down the road for me. I've made a lot of my, I guess you say, my major purchases for 2024. Most of my major purchases coming forward, most of them, unless something miraculous happens, are going to come in 2025. So I have to spend the rest of this year. I'll get maybe some low hanging types of things to build out my shop. But for the most part, I think that, obviously I need to spend a lot more time, working in the shop and getting things together. Again, like I said, I just ordered this set. Let me just click on it so you can see it full screen. So the 1812 SS and the 2616 SS, those are going to be nice additions, and obviously we'll do like an unboxing when they come in sometime in October. I learned a hard lesson. Like, if you order stuff with PayPal, they take your money immediately. However, if you order something with like your regular credit card or something like that, they typically wait until the item ships before they bill you. So I'm pretty cool with that. But as I said before, I'm just not the biggest fan of pre-ordering things. I don't know. It's something that kind of gets under my skin. As I said, unless it's something that is a brand new release, I don't know. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I had issue, or I'm still back on the fence between buying a Sheelix bird head for my DeWalt planer, or just going ahead and getting the Raycon that has the kind of like the helical cutting style head. Even though there's like a $300 difference, the thing is, if I buy the bird Sheelix and I put it in my DeWalt planer, I still have to do the work to put it in there. And, I feel capable and competent of being able to do that. But when I looked up the bird Sheelix head, it's like some variation of when the item is going to come. And I don't know, man. It's just like, the reason why I'd never purchased any kind of woodpecker or, any major devices like this is because oftentimes, and it's like this a lot when you go on woodpecker site, sometimes on bench dog site, where things go on back order. I even saw this on a dashboard. There was a time a long time ago when I was going to buy the dashboard hinge, but when I went to go buy it, it was on back order. And more than likely, if I see something on back order, unless I really, really am sure that I want it, I just will wait, or just be like, I don't want it, because when I'm tinkering about in the shop, I want to do something like right now. Like, the only reason why I'm making this purchase right now is very simple, because I know this square was out. I thought it was a regular full-time product. So I just kind of kept kicking it on the back burner, because I didn't see it as something like, oh, I want to get it right now. And after watching videos about, the steel squares versus the aluminum squares, it seems that for layout and marking, the steel squares are better because they have all the holes and whatever. And the aluminum squares seem to be more for just like scribing, lines down the, like, say for instance, the length of the blade, or setting up tools. So after kind of getting that idea and understanding, since I could use my bench dogs triangle or my TSO triangle to actually square up my MFT, those bigger aluminum triangles don't seem to be quite as intriguing to me. These ones with the slotted holes and all of that are going to be great for layout different projects and stuff like that. I don't have a lot of experience with it, so I don't know how, if it's gonna like elevate my game at all, because I'm pretty systematic when it comes to or my approach to this woodworking thing. I know that I don't know a lot and I don't have a lot of experience, but to me, as I was talking about the dashboard table the other day, and I felt like it was like a cabinet maker's kind of like dream or whatever, simply because just by comparison to the Festool table, the Festool table, you do have the issue where you may have to square it up every now and then using some kind of triangle or square like this to do that, and some people just don't want to do it. Whereas if you go 100% off of the 20 millimeter grid holes, like with the bench dogs table or with the dashboard table, then everything is a 90-degree cross cut. So I mean, say you're laying out, you've got a tool such as the woodpeckers to lay out all your lines on your sheet goods or on your wood, to make sure you're getting nice the squarest possible angle that you can get when you're doing your layout, and then you just lay your track down and make the cut. It seems like it's kind of a systematic process, because there have been times, and this is just in my shop, where I would take one of my little squares that I have and I would mark the line, and then I use the Parf Guide MFT, the Parf Guide system to make my MFT table, and I've checked it with my triangles and such like that, my TSO and my bench dogs triangle, and it is square. And so what I realized is that let me come off of this page real quick. What I realized is I'll just leave that. So what I ended up realizing was that when I use my triangles, my holes are square, right? But I would use these squares that I have, that cheap ones, inexpensive ones that I picked up here and there, and I would scribe a line, and then when I would put my track down on it, the lines weren't lining up. And so it would always put me in the mindset of like, okay, which one do I trust? And I was having that problem even with 2x4s. I would take my little small square, put it on there, scribe a line, then I cut it, and then I mill up another board and I put them together, and it's not forming a perfect 90 degree. And so that's been a major challenge in my shop. So it's like I got these high-end cutting tools, I have these whatever, but I don't have really any high-end marking or layout tools. And so it's just something that I just kept kicking down the can down the road. Now, being a novice carpenter, I don't really know how the variation of accuracy, like even these woodpeckers tools, they'll say that they're like within some percentage, 1,000ths or whatever as far as accurate. So obviously that's not 100% spot on perfect, but then nothing is. So when you start, I hear these stories about, like, say when you do something that you get you're out 1/8 of an inch here, 1/8 of an inch here, 1/8 of an inch here, and the next thing you're dealing with a parallelogram or something like that. So I'm trying to tighten all that stuff up so that I can get a better end product. Right now, between me trying to learn how to use my jointer in combination with my planer and the other equipment that I have, it's been kind of frustrating. But I also I'm not discouraged. It's just everybody gets frustrated sometimes when they're doing something, especially when you're trying to train yourself in something new and you don't have formal training. And something that I realized when I come on YouTube and I'm watching videos trying to learn things is I agree with one of these YouTubers said that basically it's infotainment. It's not really out there to really teach you anything. It can inspire you, but most of these YouTube videos are not step by step by step by step. And obviously, and I'm the same way. I mean, a lot of people may look at my YouTube videos and see the tools that I have and be like, well, I don't have that, and I don't have that. And I've had that same thing. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I have all the tools that I have, is because I kept coming across different, different channels or whatever that, and I'd be like, okay, I got that tool. I need to get this one. I need to get that one because, even like in my time as a registered nurse, what I ended up learning is that I can observe another nurse that has more experience or that does things a little bit differently than me, and I just watch, and I can learn through observation, and then it's just a natural gift of mine. I can mimic what someone else does, and then sometimes I can mimic it without even having the full understanding. And then as you do something over and over and over again, then the understanding, it just kind of grows up. It's like if somebody taught you how to bake a cake, you may not understand the ratio of ingredients, but if you follow the instructions to the T, you will come out with the same thing on the end. And so I have found that I'm pretty proficient at doing that. And I have found, like my own particular learning style is, I can observe something, I can mimic it typically right off the bat or very quickly afterwards. And then, there are times, like I said, and that's why, like with me watching a lot of YouTube videos and trying to learn my woodworking through watching stuff like that, I would always come and find these pitfalls or these holes where I'm not able to cross over from one area to the next. One major thing that I realized that I've kind of fallen off, or well, not really fallen off, but basically that struggle that I had is because I have some woodworking book around here somewhere that I, read on occasion to try to really get a foundational knowledge of woodworking. And I'm not even going to deny, when I started learning about wood movement, it just made me want to take a step back, because I'm like, wait a minute. You mean you get people, putting wood and letting it sit in their shop for years? I'm running up to Home Depot, grabbing a piece of 2x4 and trying to make something that day, and not understanding the greenness of the wood and the shifting and the twisting and the bowing, and then, spending more time wrestling with a $3 2x4 than actually building something. But it's, as I backed up a little bit, and broadened my mind, and just kind of steadied my spirit. It's like, what, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you still have to learn these steps. You have to learn how to sand, you have to learn how to plane, joint, all of these different things. And so there's these different levels of complexity that I have to try to overcome. And like I have people that comment in the comments that oh, let me tell you, some disrespectful people, and it's all good. People just speak their mind, speak their heart, or whatever the case may be. And what other people say, it's not really super important to me. But when I do hear a grain of truth, like something that I can grasp onto to do better, then I try to, put that into motion. Some things are harder than others, because, bad habits are hard to break, but they're necessary to break. Like, I don't want to lose any more digits than I've lost. I don't want to, put an eye out. I don't want to have any kind of major issues. So I have to be mindful about putting on my safety gear and doing different things like that. Some things that I do find that cause a lot of problem is, my shop is not temperature controlled. So obviously that's going to cause problems with the wood that I work with, especially if I'm using 2x lumber and such. But the other thing is, when you're uncomfortable, it's hard to spend a lot of time in the shop. Like if I'm too cold, or if like this summer's been super hot, and I got home from work today, and I went out there to record a couple little short videos, and I'm just like dripping in sweat, and I've heard comments about, you need to get a mini split, you need to do this, you need to do that, and there's reasons that I may bring up, sometime in the future about, why I don't pursue that. But right now I'm just not really interested in talking about that particular aspect. I have different visions and different things in my brain. Like, for some reason, like I have, what they call a flight of ideas. I have all these different ideas and things that I want to do. I finally found some gasket material to fix my wife's car, to fix I have to make a gasket, because I believe there's still some leakage around the water pump. It's over there, taking a piss, if you will. And so once I put I bought two different types of gasket material. One's kind of like a cork type material, and the other one's Cometic or something like that. I don't know which one I'm going to use. I may use one, and if it doesn't work, switch to the other one. But now that I have that, I'm going to fix the Saab. But because right now I had to basically, it was time to register. I had to do a plan do not operate because in California you got to pass smog. You have to pass smog every 2 years. So since the time came and went, I just paid for the plan do not operate, and then I just need to fix that up because I may spend money on other things, but I just am not interested in going into any kind of debt whatsoever. That is just not my thing, especially now with the economy being a little bit shaky. My mind is more so on trying to convince my wife to buy some land, some raw land, so we can kind of develop like some type of homestead. It's funny how when I was a younger person, I would consider myself more of like a city boy, like whether it be just different. I mean, I remember when I lived in downtown LA, I had a nice apartment, and I was driving motorcycles, and I had a BMW at one point in time, but my mind is just totally shifted. Like I'm not into cars really like that. I mean, I want to be into them as far as knowing how to fix them, but I have there's nothing in me that is all about like, oh, I need to be driving a Lamborghini or Ferrari or BMW. I'm more into this is the tool phase of my life, right? Went through that period when I bought a lot of electronics, and I still buy some. Obviously I need cameras and that kind of gear to do these videos, but I don't do as much like right now. I'm going to do an update video about my Surface Duo. Matter of fact, I don't even carry it right now because it's let me back up. So my Surface Duo, the case started going bad on it. So I wanted to make a video that showed that the case was deteriorating. I tried to buy a new one, couldn't find one. Remember, I had the Surface Duo 1. So I wasn't able to buy it because Microsoft basically just abandoned it, right? So since I couldn't buy a case, I may have took some pictures of it, I don't know, but anyways, finally I just said forget it, and I just started carrying it because I had stopped carrying it because I wanted to show the condition of it, and I didn't want to take it off. Well, I kept having other things going on, so I kept kicking the can down the road, and then eventually I just took the case off, right? And then I just started to look at it, and he's like, I will show footage of it. I mean, I won't go too deeply, but basically I am so glad I didn't pay $1,500 for that friggin' phone, which in all honesty I did. But when I bought the original Surface Duo, it stopped working in like a week. I had it in my pocket at work, and then I went to pull it out, and it just never powered up again. So I sent it back. And then I ended up buying it the second time. I bought one for me and for my wife when it was on a fire sale for like 300 and something bucks, right? But I will revisit that. I know it's a different type of video, but I want to revisit that so that people can get an update on that. But I leading into that, like I don't even want to buy a phone, right? That Surface Duo is about 2 years old. I think it came out in 2022, and but I have, let me see, I have, as far as phones, so I have 3 phones, right? 3 phones with a SIM card in them. I have 3 phones with a SIM card in them. So right now I have my iPhone 10, which is 7 years old. I have my Samsung Note 8, which is 7 years old. And then I have the Surface Duo, which is 2 years old. And the SIM card in the Duo used to be in my Google Pixel 2, which is 7 years old. So I had 3 phones, and I'll talk about why I had 3 phones in another video, but not now. But I had 3 phones, and I was hoping to upgrade to the Duo because I was, I was a big Microsoft, I guess you'd call it like fanboy. There was a time when I wanted everything to be Microsoft, right? That'll probably have to be another video too, because that'll go way too off on the deep end. But regardless, so anyways, just trying to pull this back together and just kind of complete this particular video. As I said from the earlier, I just don't like buying pre-ordered equipment. That's why I don't have a lot of bench dogs or woodpecker tools. This is gonna be my first woodpecker tool that I'm gonna get. It looks like it's coming with a mini Dell Square for free. I saw that in the cart. I was trying to delete it, but then I saw $0.00. So I guess that's a little free gift that they're giving with that. So I look forward to getting that here, seeing how it works. Now, I'm partially excited and partially not, right? For me, it's kind of more of a box check than it is me being super excited because I think that I would be using the smaller ones. Let me see if I can go back to the site. Let's see. I think that more than likely, let me go back here. See if I can find it. Steel squares. So the big ones obviously are the most expensive. However, I think that a lot of projects are going to be more utilizing these smaller ones. So let me see if I could pull it out. Yeah, see, like the 6 and the 12-inch, right? I think those would be used like way more readily than those two big ones. But it's way less expensive. But even here, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is why I have never bought from Woodpecker before. Sold out, reserve yours today. Like everything that you want to buy or that I wanted to buy, it would be like this. Sold out, reserve yours today. And just I'm just different like that. The way that I think, like I would prefer, you know what I'm saying? Let me go back over here. See if it'll load. I would prefer to order this ultra workstation or this big base. Why? Because it's new. It's not on the market and it takes time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a pre-order in a different way. It's not something that just ran out and it's like, they're batching. Like it seems like these companies that make these aluminum products, it's almost like they batch the devices. It's like, okay, all the machines are going to make this, and then next time all the machines are going to make that. And so it's like they collect all the money, you know what I'm saying? And these manufactured things, these aluminum things, like they dang near have to become to you twisted, I would think, before they would actually receive it back, as a returned item. These I don't really consider to be things that you can return. Unless you can like put a thing up to it and it's supposed to be, 90 degrees and it's 45 or some ridiculous thing like that. Unless it's something like that, it's kind of like, when you buy these, it's like a one and done. Now, the good thing is like if you look at the steel squares and stuff, the lifetime, Woodpecker guarantee. So that's reassuring. But as I said, like every time I turn around, so like if I wanted to, I could buy this set, this 150 300 millimeter. Those are available, but the Imperial ones, they're not available. And the 6-inch and the 12-inch are a little bit bigger than the 150 300. And this is $239. Now, if I go over here to Benchdog's site and say I buy both of those same squares, let's go back. Let's see, measuring tool. And so like, okay, so when you buy the what is it called, the Woodpecker one, they typically come in a little thing, I believe, that holds them. Yeah, like if you look here, well, does it show it there? Let me see if I can find it, the picture. It doesn't oh yeah, here it is. Like if you look in this picture, this is how the Woodpecker ones come, where it's kind of contained in this little MDF thing. Now when you go to the Benchdogs, right, theirs comes a little bit different. So let me click on this one, and they have these little, let me see if I can find the image that shows how it looks. Let me go back. That is not what I was trying to do. All right, so if you look here, if you can see back here in the background, you see how that little green up under that T square, that's how they that's how their squares are hung up on the wall, right? So you get these little green apparatuses. They're not that expensive, but like say if I wanted to order let me go back, measuring tools, let's go to steel squares. All right, so if I go into the steel squares, let's say, so the equivalent would be the 450 and 600 for the bigger ones. Well, let's look at the 150 and 300 smaller ones, right? So let's add that to the cart. And so, well, actually, you can look right here. This is a sustainer set that has both of these. Now, the benefit is it does come in a sustainer, which is pretty cool. And you can house that carpenter square in there as well. $302, right? But if I add that to my cart, let me try to add that to my cart. Let me take this out. And there's been times I've had this in my cart and I just didn't pull the trigger because do I really want to, pay that shipping cost right now? I really, got to be feeling pretty good, to pay it. I have times when I do, but let's see, view cart. And then let's see here. So let's agree to check out. All right, so $63 for shipping. That's how much it costs. All right, $63 to get this sent. But on the flip side, if I was to order, let's say this, let's add this to cart. I don't even know if I'm still signed in. Yeah, I'm signed in. So I add that to cart, and then I need to go to my cart. Oh, so they're giving out the mini Dell Square with everything now, because it's in the cart as well. Yeah, 0. So okay, so if I order that and then I proceed to checkout, and then let's say I click on this, $13.60 versus, so we're already talking about a total of a difference, even though you're getting the sustainer, which is great. But even if you take the sustainer out, when you go back to the bench dogs one and you go back to buying them separately, say you get the little green thing, which would be the equivalent of that MDF plaque, something to hang it on the wall, you're talking $248. So 110 plus the 138, 248. So that's $10 more for these two than it would be if I was to buy, let's go back here. If I go back here and look at the stainless steel squares and we go down to exact same thing, 150 and 300 millimeter, 239 versus 99 versus 248, right? So it's $10 more expensive for the benchdogs.co.uk, plus you're going to pay more in shipping. Now, for me, as I said, I have a specific reason why I would buy the bench dogs is, it's basically at a glance in the shop. If I'm like, okay, this project that I'm going to do is going to be in feet, it's going to be imperial. Now, I know measurement is measurement, it doesn't matter, but sometimes things are a little bit easier. Like, say, for instance, if I'm doing 50 mil is, is a nice round number, but so is 12 feet or 12 inches or 6 inches. So whenever I get in between those two, like, say, for instance, if it's like say 50 mil is I don't know offhand what that is in inches or whatever, but when I get these odd numbers, I'm kind of like bouncing back and forth. Like, is it closer to let's use the height of the MFT table, is it closer to 900 mils or is it closer to 34 inches? Which one is it? So if it's like 34 and 9/16 versus, I'm just throwing numbers out here, versus 900 mil, I'm going to reach for my metric stuff, make everything 900 mil to simplify it for myself. On the flip side, if I'm looking at it the other way and say it's like 36.75 mil, and that ends up being like, let's say, I don't know, whatever in inches, and it's a flat even number, then I'm just going to go that way. So that's how I'm working with things back and forth, at least at this time. Maybe in the long run that's not really all going to work out, but then since I am doing this YouTube channel, what I'm gonna be able to do is I'm gonna be able to give my honest opinion, which right now today it's not super valuable because I'm still a novice and I'm still growing, but over time I plan on getting better, and as I get better, I'll be able to, expound on things and be able to offer greater insight, because this is, so in one aspect, it's like, all my little, honey-do list DIY chores, I use my tools to take care of that type of stuff. But at the same time, when I want to tinker and just kind of play around, it's a constructive hobby. But then beyond being a constructive hobby, it's also, it's content for this YouTube channel. So it's kind of multifaceted, right? It's not just a one size fits all type of thing. So as I gather more tools into my shop, it gives me more video content to make, right? Because I mean, I'm just gonna say it like it is. You got people that unbox tools or unbox anything online, and they may be making a pretty decent income, just from unboxing things. And so, if I already am planning on buying it anyway, then why not share what I learn about it with people out there? I may not be the Nostradamus of a particular product, but there may be something helpful that I can share. And for those people that want to be derogatory or negative, who cares? Who cares? Because at the end of the day, I think someone like came onto my channel one time and basically and made a comment saying like, you don't even know how to use a jointer, you don't know how to do this. I'm like, dude, I just said in plenty of videos that number one, I'm a novice, I'm training myself. That's number one. And so like, what do I care about what a person like that says? I mean, what does that mean? What does that mean? It's like my time, my life, my money. Why does that matter? I don't really see the point. But people get really vocal about their opinions and about how they feel about things, and I just keep it pushing. I really don't care about stuff like that, because if I let people like that discourage me from moving forward, I've had a person come on my channel and tell me I should give all my tools to some lady on the internet that's building stuff. Like, what sense does that make? I don't even understand that. Or people saying, oh, you're a poser. Well, okay, I'll be that, but the reality of the matter is I'm gonna still do me. And I don't know, another person made a comment. It was like, oh, do you know what a broom is? I'm like, okay. I thought about that for a minute, and I'm like, so you click on a video about a vacuum head, or some vacuum attachments, and you asking about a broom. I'm just trying to figure out how that makes sense, but it is what it is. It doesn't even matter. Anyways, guys, I'm going to quit rambling, and I will be coming back on more frequently, kind of sharing my thoughts and at different things. And so if you enjoy, hearing some of the things I have to say, then, welcome back when I see you again. And if not, deuces. All right, guys, thanks for taking time to listen to the video, and I'll see you in my next one. Take care.